Samsung just launched this brand new Galaxy S25 series, and today I'm gonna talk about a few aspects of them and see if they're worth upgrading or not. But first, let me tell you about our sponsor. Oh shoot, we don't have any sponsors. This is Byteforge and let's get to the video. So the Galaxy Unpacked was pretty boring, to be honest. I mean, most of what we saw was about AI. It's a good thing to promote on a brand new device, but I mean, it's too much. I'll talk about the AI of course, but let's get to the devices first. As per usual, we get three models: S25, S25 Plus and the S25 Ultra, which is the main focus of this video. Let's first talk about the pricing. The good thing is that the price of the brand new S25 series is as the same as the previous generation. The regular S25 is priced at $799, S25 Plus is $999 and the S25 Ultra is $1299. And they also have the same storage options as last year, plus a 1TB version for the Ultra. Now if you want to go for higher storage, you of course gotta pay more. Now as for the design, the S25 and the S25 Plus is basically the same as the S24 series. I mean, if they didn't change the colors, I'd probably mistake the S25 with the S24. Now the design of the S25 Ultra has some minimal but much needed changes compared to the S24 Ultra. Now the frame of the phone is fully flat. Compared to the previous generation, the S24 Ultra, which had a little bit of curvature. Additionally, the corners of the S25 Ultra are more softened and give it more of a rounded feel. Thankfully, this softening and the rounded shape of the phone makes it more pleasant and comfortable to hold. Now, Samsung said that the real reason for this attempt was to closer the gaps between the S25 series, but we all know that this is not the real reason. It's now a trend to see companies going for the fully flat design on their phones, like the iPhone 16 or the Xiaomi 15 series or other companies like that. It's now thinner at 8.2mm compared to the previous generation, which was 8.6. Not that much thinner, but it's noticeable, a little bit. And it's slightly lighter at 219 grams compared to the S24 Ultra, which was 233. And as I mentioned in the previous videos, if you watched it, I said that Samsung may use a higher grade titanium, and they did. According to Samsung, it's now tougher, but they didn't talk about the grade. I think it's grade 5. Now, when it comes to colors, the S25 Ultra is pretty boring. We got titanium silver gray, titanium silver white, and titanium silver black. But on the other hand, the S25 and the S25 Plus got some vibrant and cool colors. Now we should expect this since we got titanium on the Ultra and it's a bit hard to get some vibrant colors on titanium. Now let's talk about the display. The S25 Ultra is now bigger at 6.9 inches, nice, which is slightly bigger than the previous generation, which was 6.8. Not a lot bigger, but that's because the bezels are now thinner at 15%, so you have more screen to body ratio. Now for protection, I got it right. Samsung used the Gorilla Glass Armor 2, which is made by Corning, and it's now tougher by 29-30%, which is pretty good. And it's more durable against scratches and accidental drops. Along with that, the anti-reflective coating which was introduced on the S24 Ultra is now more anti-reflective. Now Samsung even upgraded this thing, yet other companies are still struggling to do it. Come on, man. And aside from that, everything is the same as the last generation. It's a good thing because the display on the S24 Ultra was already pretty good. I've used it for a few times, and I mean the combination of that anti-reflective display with that amount of brightness was pretty much noticeable when you compare it to other phones. So I think Samsung continued this route by slightly improving the display of this phone. Okay, now it's time to talk about the cameras. Now the camera specs of the whole S25 series is as the same as the S24 series. But the S25 Ultra has something new. The main lens is still 200 megapixels and the 3x and the 5x telephoto are still the same resolution. And now after a few generations, the ultra-wide camera is now at 50 megapixels. Previously it was at 12. Now that results in a sharper image, and when in night mode, the process algorithm reduces the noise and improves the overall clarity of the image. And other than that, we can get better macro shots as well. Something not a lot of people use, but it's now 4 times more clear than the previous generation. Now Samsung said that the portraits on the S25 Ultra are something else. The edge detection is gonna be more precise since we got the newer processor and the ISP, the image signal processor. And we get a digital variable aperture. Basically the same as the hardware, but it's now controlled in software and it's more precise and manual. And for video, it still maxes out at 8K 30 FPS. And you know what I always say about this. it's a flex. Not everybody gonna use it. The best option is 4K 60 FPS. Good thing that they didn't add the 8K 60 FPS. Let's be honest, if they did, they'd be talking about it the whole year. Oh, our phones can do 60 FPS, not a lot of companies can do. Our phone's in the best in terms of the video quality. No, it's not. It's not. Now, aside from all the jokes that I said, your brand new Galaxy S25 Ultra is now capable of shooting at log mode. For those who don't know what log mode is, it basically lets you to take raw videos and gives you the option to manually color grade and correct the color precisely. And also you can use some pre-installed LUTs when you're editing the log videos. Alright, now let's talk about the performance. Galaxy S25 Ultra, as you know, of course is using the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. It's a slightly overclocked chipset that improves some processing, mostly for AI. Now it's 39% faster for CPU, 40% faster for GPU, and the NPU, which is the AI processor of the phone, is now 40% faster and more powerful. But there's the thing, that every other smartphone that came with the Snapdragon 8 Elite has a serious heating issue, an overheating issue. I'm talking about a 50 or 55 degrees Celsius on a smartphone, which is not good. I mean, I basically can't hold a phone with that amount of heat. I don't want to burn my hands. Now the solution that Samsung had in mind was to use a larger vapor chamber. It's now 40% larger than the S24 Ultra, which helps with heat dissipation, and the phone will cool down faster, which is a must for that amount of processing power. Some AI features that Samsung introduced alongside the S25 Ultras are gonna be only included in the S25 Ultra, which I think are some cloud processed stuff. Now, I didn't hear Samsung talking about Exynos, and I really hope that that stupid Exynos isn't at the S25 series, the whole S25 series, because that thing was a mess. And additionally, all the S25 series have 12 GB of RAM, finally, which is needed if you're doing some on-device AI processing and you don't want your $1,000 phone to be slow when doing AI stuff. Now, let's talk about the software and AI. Now it's 2025, everything comes with AI, even the toothbrush, so yeah, let's talk about it. Now Samsung brought tons of AI stuff with the S25 series. Now we got seamless actions thanks to the mix of the Bixby and Gemini, and that basically means that you can ask your personal assistant, or by the name that Samsung gave it, your personal agent, to do some stuff without needing to change apps or even open an app, by just holding the power button. For example, you can talk to your personal agent and ask for an Italian pet-friendly restaurant, plus sending it to a friend. And again, you don't need to change the apps or even open an app. You just have to hold the power button and ask Gemini or Bixby or both. And now, that circle to search thing that not everybody uses is faster, thanks to the new processor and some AI stuff. Plus, Samsung added a new music button, which by tapping it, Google will find the name of the song and search it for you. And the other thing that Samsung talked about is Morning Brief, which is personalized to you by learning your hobbies or what you do when you wake up in the morning, and I don't know, what news you follow. It will show you everything on a single click when you wake up. It's like a personal assistant when it comes to you in the morning and talks about your plans and your meetings and the weather and the news and everything that you have to do in the day. And the other thing which was introduced in the previous generation, which is now upgraded, is the call translation, which is now faster and more reliable and more precise thanks to the newer processor. And when you hang up the call, it'll show you the transcript so you can scroll up or down, and by tapping on the summarize, it'll show you the whole conversation on just a few sentences. And other than that, the software support is as the same as the previous generation, of course. You get 7 years of OS support, which is pretty good. I mean, I don't think we need any more than that, because not everybody gonna use their phones for like 7 years or even 5 years. I do, but not everybody does. And plus, the One UI 7, the newest software that came with Samsung, which is now available on older devices which support it, is amazing. The combination of this amazing UI with the processing power of the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy and some AI stuff is beautiful. Now, the Galaxy S25 Ultra has the same 5000 mAh battery as the previous generation, the S24 Ultra. And it's not the silicon carbon. Like, the only thing that Samsung mentioned about the battery is that you can get 1 more hour of video playback. And it's not bad, because the S24 Ultra in terms of battery was amazing. It was the best phone in terms of the battery for Samsung, of course. Now, as for the conclusion, I gotta say the Galaxy S25 Ultra is an amazing device. With that slightly rounded body, a tougher titanium and 15% smaller display bezels, and the crazy camera package with the new 50 megapixel ultra wide, and the processing power of the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is now 40% faster and more powerful than the previous generation, and that beautiful software combined with the AI and 7 years of OS support, It's a good idea if you're having an S23 Ultra or older generations and want to upgrade, not the S24. And that's it. Thank you for watching till now, and if you did, please consider subscribing to the channel so you wouldn't miss the new videos, and don't forget to like the video and drop your nice comments and your thoughts about the new S25 series, and I will answer to all of them. This is Byforge, and see you in the next one.